Welcome in Tuesday edition, Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neal, McCready, Clark Ford Studio here with you this morning. Ole Miss baseball, they resume action tonight. Memphis, 6:30 start time for that one here in Oxford. Alcorn State tomorrow night, 6:30 for that as well as Ole Miss with a 5-game weekend. Mississippi State starting Friday, Silver Bulldog weekend there in Starkville. Lane Kiffin will speak to the media today, 11:30-ish for that. Covers RebelGrove.com as the day moves on from a football standpoint as well. A podcast brought to you every single day by the Oxford Exxon Highway 6 West in Oxford. You know about the Blue Sky location. The lunch specials are available every day, $5.69, a couple sides, bread, any size fountain drink that you would like. Also, if you just want a fountain drink, they've got the great 49-cent fill-ups for those. Let them take care of dinner tonight. Ribs, plenty of things in the hot case. Call ahead. They'll wrap it up, have it ready to go for you. And then remember, if you're in Clinton, Mississippi, it's the one Blue Sky location, they're all going to have it, but they've got the fresh donuts. Make them every morning. A lot of flavors, a lot of different variety there from a donut standpoint with Blue Sky in Clinton. And again, coming to you from the Clark Ford studio.
Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900 is the number. Call it. Ask for my friend Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. It's right to the bottom line. No hassle, no haggle. You get your quote. The rest completely up to you. You can shop that quote around. You can do what I've done, what I recommend that you do. Let's hop into a Clark Ford today, 662-257-1900. Working on some guests for later in the week. Guests join on the myperfectfranchise.net hotline. If you're a displaced corporate executive or you're wanting to put your career in your own hands, if you're an experienced entrepreneur looking to diversify, Andy Ludicky can help. He owns multiple franchises and businesses. He uses his expertise to help others find their American dream through a very thorough and free consultation process. So call Andy, put your life and your career in your own hands. It's 100% free. You've got nothing to lose. myperfectfranchise.net. Andy at myperfectfranchise.net or 404-973-9901.
I think we're going to find out about the all-important format for the spring game today. Is that going to be the news coming out of the Lane Kiffin press conference today? Big storylines and whatnot.
God. I'm sure.
Is it going to be offense against defense? It's going to be ones against the twos?
Lane, have you given any thought to the format for the game Saturday? And you wonder why I hate all of you. That would be a fun press conference. It'd be about right. Anyway.
I'm going to, the funny thing about that, though, like, they're going to put it out in a press release at some point. I mean, fans obviously need to know what they're looking at, I guess. I don't know. It's going to be an interesting spring game standpoint of no baseball in town, just kind of what the crowd looks like. Sometimes there's like a sign of excitement is way too strong because it's a spring game, but there are storylines, and I feel like Dart has been so ahead of everyone because of Sanders' injury and just in general that there's not the same sort of, hey, in person you're going to see this. It feels like it's just sort of been Jackson Dart show during the spring.
Yeah, and I mean, in fairness to Spencer Sanders, so much of his game is his feet, and he's not going to be live. Mm-hmm. So it's really hard to judge how effective he is or isn't in that sort of setting. And Jackson, a lot of his game is with his feet, his ability to escape pressure, stuff like that. It's multiple offensive linemen that are going to play during the season aren't out there. Same with the defensive line. I expect there's going to be portal activity with front seven at the end of the spring. It's just, I can't imagine Quinshon Judkins are they really going to have Quinshon getting tackled 25 times on Saturday? I kind of doubt it. So far in scrimmages, it hasn't really been live. It's been thud. Mm-hmm. And then last Saturday, I saw people refer to it as a scrimmage. It did not appear to be a scrimmage. It appeared just to be a football practice. Like they did some situational stuff, but they weren't tackling to the ground. So that's not a scrimmage.
It's not a scrimmage. Frankly, the end of practice during a normal practice is more of a scrimmage than that.
Yeah.
They do teamwork at the end of practices that is more indicative of a scrimmage.
Yeah, I don't know.
Look, the problem with spring games is anyone making too much of it. As just an event, it just is what it is. It's fine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with nice weather and you go out and you watch them throw the football around and you have a nice time and you spend the 2 hours. Cool, sweet. It's all good.
Absolutely.
It's, hey, this meant this. No, it didn't. It just had a good time. Everybody's throwing. Cool.
I think that's where
it's a spring training game. Just because in baseball you don't do that. You don't go out to the first day and go, God, like you see the guy that's gonna be bagging groceries in a week, hit the ball off Scherzer. Nah, whatever. Okay, it's gonna be all right. That's the thing. I guess my point is, and I'm like with it too. It's not towards you or anybody else. It makes all of us cynical because we get the questions. If you just take it for what it is, okay, cool. It's all good.
I think if it's not even frustration, it's just kind of a. Well, other people said that. I joke about this. I don't know whether anyone's writing this or not, but 10 things we learned from Tuesday's practice. That's really forced.
Mm-hmm.
Now, August, different deal, because you start having some things matter a little bit. You're getting closer to stuff that matters. You're making decisions. Here's a great example. Guys getting reps in April, it just means that guys are getting reps. It means they're looking at some stuff. When guys start getting more reps towards the end of August, it means someone's moving up the proverbial depth chart. It means someone's making a move. Someone's going to play more. There's a reason.
They're close to moving up a stretch line. Yeah, you go, oh.
People are paying. Someone's caught their eye. Someone's paying more attention to something. They think they found something. That kind of thing, as opposed to in April where it's just, hey, we're out here. Let's see what you look at like a defensive end. Hey, let's move you over to left guard, see what that looks like. Let's play you in the slot some today and see what that looks like.
Something that's gone by the wayside. Years ago, I guess maybe with Nutt, it might have been Nutt. You could actually tell the depth chart that he had in his head by stretch lines because he would move them up into starters on the first line and then on down and on down and down. You actually got to practice early to make sure you saw stretch because that was, in a way, the only thing that did matter for the day, which was it's an antiquated thing now that no longer exists.
Our depth chart that we're working on, Ginger, is so. I don't want to oversell it because it is so incredible. But when you hit the launch button, when we finally put this thing out, it is amazing.
Bells and whistles and neon.
And just the video that comes with it and so much of the graphics. And it's really incredible. The problem with it is that it is sort of static in a way. And so if there's a change, anything happens, we almost have to go restart.
You have to start over. Because it's like computer code. You have to go back in.
And it's just a lot of work. But once it's out, it's fantastic. It's something. I've dedicated years to this. It's a beautiful, beautiful depth chart. It is something to behold. You will absolutely love it. You will want to be in a place where you can express your emotions without being embarrassed.
Do coaching staffs do depth charts? No, not really. Does media relations? Yes, because it's just kind of required for a Monday before a game. Yes. I mean, that's
the media relations staff does it, takes it by the coaches. They look at it, add some oars, or scoff at it,
and hand it back, Yeah. It's not dictating anything on Saturday. Lane doesn't have it out and go, hey,
well, and it's frankly, from a coaching staff standpoint, in all seriousness, it's in this transfer portal era, it's the very last thing you would do in April.
Mm-hmm.
You would never put a depth chart out in April.
Oh, yeah.
And if you did, it would be full of oars because you don't want someone to have a bad day and go, oh, I'm third team. Screw it. I'm out. That's very clearly on Lane's mind. If you ask about the portal, he'll talk about the people leaving as much as he'll talk about those coming. It's a concern. So no, I mean, in all seriousness, for a brief moment, that's the very last thing that they would want to do, and it also probably impacts the way that they do scrimmages and stuff, especially anything open and on TV. Is they don't want it to appear that someone's buried on a depth chart, because that makes that person ripe for the plucking.
There are intricacies to the portal that people are still learning. Frankly, coaches have had to be comfortable with. I mean, I was talking to, it's not football, but talking to a coach talking about how there's nobility only brings you losses at this point. That it has gotten to, it's not even scummy. It's just the way things are, to the point that the tampering is, it's that or be fired. So have at it. And for a lot of coaches, it's frankly uncomfortable. It's not something they want, not something they like, not something they feel good about.
Most of them can't stand it.
Yeah, but
they're doing it because you have to.
They're doing it to you, so you can sit back if you'd like. But all it's going to mean is you're going to your own.
Yeah, I mean, I laugh when people bitch about tampering. I'm like, okay, yes, your coaches are tampering, and your roster's being tampered with. Those are two things that when you wake up in the morning, you can just put that
certainties
in categories of sunrises and east.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, people are tampering with your roster, and you are tampering.
Birth, death, taxes, and tampering.
And your coaches are tampering with other rosters. Most assuredly.
I was reading a baseball story, and we're jumping all over the place, which is probably necessary today.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not in a mental spot to be like sports locked in today. I probably should be, but I'm not. So
I was reading over baseball stories. I was putting some stuff together for the podcast today, and I'll admit I failed a little because I didn't have you explain this last week, so I'm going to go back to it and have you explain it now. You're watching the World Baseball Classic. You were talking to Jeffrey and me about it last Thursday. Okay, you don't remember that because Thursday is like 12 podcasts to go, and you're not mentally. That's not whatever. But you made mention that you and Carson were watching together, and that we were talking about the huge part of the moment and all that stuff. It was not affecting his free agency. Why were you pulling for Shohei Otani against the Americans? I apologize for not bringing this up at the time. I have an issue here, and I need an explanation.
I just like him so much.
You don't like Mike Trout?
I like Trout fine. I've probably been Otani obsessed since he was in Japan the first time.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that the Cubs were pursuing him. I knew that Theo Epstein felt like he was, in his words on a recent podcast, he was on the Ryan Russillo show recently.
Oh.
And he referred to Otani as a god. He has always viewed him as that. And so I was very interested in Otani, and I have followed his career, and I find watching him play baseball to be a fairly joyful experience.
He is always joyful on the field.
And I enjoy watching him play. And there's probably only a couple things that he could do that would stop me from finding joy in watching him play. And
signing with the St. Louis Cardinals.
That would certainly do it.
Otani with the birds on the bat no longer feels as joyous anymore.
That would probably be the end of my baseball watching. In all seriousness, I probably would say that's it. I'm done.
The player you like watching the most going to the team you hate the most.
Yes, that would do it.
And seeing them 19 times throughout the season.
I just wouldn't do it. That'd be it. I literally think that would be the end. I don't know. I think that's it. I think he might be my favorite player ever, with the possible exception of Ryan Sandberg when I was growing up, and I wanted to wear number 23 and everything. Everyone else wanted to wear 23 for Jordan. I wanted to wear 23 for Sandberg.
I wore it for David Justice.
Yeah, I wore 23 for Ryan Sandberg. But that's probably it. I just wanted, in that moment, caught myself cheering for him. I mean,
because I like Rory a ton, but I'm not pulling for him in the Ryder Cup. We'll still go jump on Patrick Reed's bandwagon if he's playing Rory.
I love my country and I'm a patriot, but it's not like these days you go, hey, I'm really proud to be an American. We're kicking ass. No, I mean, come on, we're our country's in utter chaos. So I just kind of caught myself going, you know what? It wasn't a conscious decision.
No, you just said it in passing, but it didn't
I was
click.
for Shohei. I didn't want Mike Trout to hit a home run off Shohei. I wanted Shohei to win. And then when I saw the speech that Shohei gave before the game, I was even more Shohei. It was one of the best pregame speeches I've ever heard. It was fantastic.
Okay.
I think there are people in my household that worry about Shohei signing with the Cubs because of what it might mean financially.
Like gear?
I think I'd have to be like, here, take my credit cards, take them away right now. Just give me a month to get logical.
How much did you spend the night of the World Series?
Oh.
Because you were drunk, too.
Yeah. That's putting it mildly.
I mean, you were still drunk the next morning talking to Ross.
Bad. Several $100s.
That's it. Oh, okay.
I mean, a lot.
What's the most anybody out there? I mean, I know the stream probably won't have good answers, but podcast in general, tweet at me from the board. How much? What's the most anybody spent for the national championship in June? What gear, merchandise wise? What's the high for you people?
Well, I know based on talking to Scott at the College Corner that Ole Miss people spent a lot in the days immediately following winning the national championship. A lot.
So did you go like T-shirt heavy, cap heavy? What'd you do? A little bit of everything?
Cap, T-shirt. I promised that whoever the MVP was, I would buy that jersey, and I did. I bought a Ben Zobrist jersey. Christmas ornaments. Everything.
Christmas ornaments.
Everything. If it was there.
Christmas ornament.
If it was there, I bought it.
Oh, you spent more than a couple $100.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
You, come on.
I mean, I probably pushed 1,000. It was worth it. Every penny of it. Do I know where all that stuff is?
They would be better off like giving half of it immediately and then like releasing stuff as the weeks goes on and go, oh, well, I don't have that shirt. I don't have like, whoa, hold on a minute.
Yeah, it was worth everything. It was good. Was it stuff that I ever used? No. Was it worth it? Absolutely. I mean, I've told you this. I mean, it was. I mean, one of my few regrets is I almost kind of would like to go back and experience it completely sober. At the same time, I think had I been completely sober, the Rajai Davis home run would have broken me. I think that would have been. I think that would have led to.
You needed you needed the help there, the therapy, the liquid therapy.
Probably would have led to cardiac arrest. That moment, I know I would have thought that's it. We're done.
That was the moment where you said you had to kind of focus on Carson for a minute.
Yeah, he broke down. Yeah. And
now you pull from the Indians. It's crazy. Guardians.
I mean,
I've finally kind of gotten Redskins out of my vernacular, but I'm having a hard time with Indians and Guardians. I haven't gotten there yet.
It doesn't sound right either. It just doesn't feel.
No,
it
feels
right.
like I'm talking about a arena football team or something. Like I can't make that be a.
And I don't know that I can do the Commanders.
That one has finally locked into my head for whatever reason.
It's a struggle for me, and I'll tell you why. Because pre-NFL Sunday ticket days, when I was growing up in North Louisiana, we got the Cowboys. We just got the Cowboys. Everybody was Cowboys.
Yeah.
And so the Cowboys, one of their big rivals was the Redskins, and the Redskins were good. I mean, it was Joe Theismann and John Riggins and all those cats. And, I mean, those were huge games when the Cowboys and the Redskins played, and it's hard for me to get past that. And, Doug Williams was the quarterback of the Redskins when they won didn't he win a Super Bowl? Doug Williams?
Yeah.
Doug Williams played at Grambling, and Grambling was 5 minutes from Ruston, so that was a huge story. And it's just kind of hard for me to forget them as the Redskins and suddenly just call them the Commanders, even though they have the exact same color scheme. And
I mean, last year I really struggled with it, but for whatever reason, that one kind of.
Austin, thanks for the super chat. Do I think the Braves will change their name? I hope not.
I don't think so. That it feels like if you kind of if it's not at least being talked about, you're probably it's not a thing, at least in this era.
I mean, I hope not. It's a great name.
Doug Williams was the Super Bowl MVP and champion of Super Bowl 22.
Okay. What year was that?
Then maybe around 89 or 90, probably somewhere in there. 88. I don't know, something like that. January 31st, 1988. Redskins 42, Broncos 10.
Okay, so I was a high school senior. Yeah.
San Diego, California.
Okay.
The line was Broncos by 3. Did not turn out that way.
No.
At all. So
not even a little bit.
Yeah. Cost of a 30-second commercial that year was $645,000. It's gone up a touch since 1988.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. Which, I mean, $645 back then. I mean, that's
everything. Only one thing in the world is inflation proof.
Is it going to change, you think?
No. If anything, they'll lower it. Where else would you get an analysis of the top 10 quarterbacks in the 2027 class? I mean, where else?
Supply and demand and whatnot.
I mean, yeah.
$645 in 1988 is $1.6 million today.
1.6 million. I don't even. What is a Super Bowl ad now? I don't even know.
Yeah.
It's probably about that.
Think so?
I don't know, a couple $1 million, I'm guessing.
Front Office Sports reported that in 2023, Fox has set the cost of a 30-second ad at $7 million.
No joke.
Yeah. And so, no, it is not. It's not the same there, actually. I mean, you could have almost run a miniseries in the same amount of money. Yeah, $7 million.
$7 million. That's a lot of Bud Light.
Yeah.
Did you send me something?
No, BetterHelp.
Oh. Hold on, I had to get to it. Sorry, you threw me off. Now, a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp. It can be tough to train your brain to stay in problem-solving mode when faced with a challenge in life. But when you learn how to find your own solutions, there's no better feeling. A therapist can help you become a better problem solver, making it easier to accomplish your goals, no matter how big or small. I've used therapy in my life. It's a way to handle some stress, clear negative thoughts, mentally relax a little. For me, it was a life changer. If you're thinking of giving therapy a try, BetterHelp is a great option. It's convenient, accessible, affordable. It's entirely online. Get matched with a therapist after filling out a brief survey. Switch therapist anytime you'd like. When you want to be a better problem solver, therapy can get you there. Visit betterhelp.com/MPW today to get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/MPW.
Our next partner is Athletic Greens. I take AG1 by Athletic Greens literally every day. Give it a try because I don't always eat the best. I always get all the vegetables, all the vitamins, minerals that I need inside my diet. AG1 can help with that. Do it after the fast, before or after the workout. Makes me feel better. Fills you up with things that you need every single day. It's a comprehensive health and the power of habit in one. It's great for recovery. Love taking mine again. Around a workout when you need a boost. It empowers the gut for whole body health and makes you better overall throughout your day. It's comprehensive solutions, what you need for your supplement routine. Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D, and 5 travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticsgreens.com/MPW. That's athleticgreens.com/MPW.
We're also brought to you by Walk On Sports Bistro. They put everything they've got into bringing you game day with the taste of Louisiana. Dig into their mouth-watering, made-from-scratch Louisiana cuisine, po' boys, gumbo, voodoo shrimp, plus fan favorites like juicy burgers, fresh salads, 70-plus TVs, 40-plus ice-cold beers on tap. Check them out in Oxford or Ridgeland today. I mentioned the College Corner. It's collegecornerstore.com. 2 locations in the Jackson area, one in Ridgeland, one in Flowood. You can also check them out on Facebook and Instagram at the College Corner Store. We're brought to you by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating, different names, same great products and services. If you live in Oxford, Tupelo, Batesville, that area, get in touch with our friends at Comer, 662-801-1777. If you live in Hernando, Memphis, that area, call Southern, 662-429-4429. A-Stock Auctions is a Nashville-based online retail company with the mission to provide customers the power to name their price. All items start at just $1. That's right. Every item is $1, no matter what the retail value may be. Shop now at astock.bid. That's ASTOCK.BID, or download their app. Name your price on thousands of items from big-name retailers. They've got multiple locations around Nashville, as well as Memphis, Selma, Indiana, and more. So if you want local pickups, don't miss out. Want it, bid it, win it.
Podcast also brought to you by G&M Pharmacy, 662-236-2222. They deliver locally in the Oxford area, and they offer MedSync. 3 prescriptions the same day each month and take care of you. One trip to the pharmacy, one delivery, and you have everything you need it when you do with G&M, whether it be G&M or Tyson Drugs. They will transfer your medications quickly. One call, they take care of the rest. You'll have to stay with the big box pharmacies. Let G&M help. Again, that's 662-236-2222. So context probably provided here. I don't know anything. I'm not necessarily reporting anything, but it did raise my antenna a little bit. Arterio Morris, the Texas point guard, jumping into the portal yesterday. Morris signed with Texas, obviously under Chris Beard being the head coach at the time. He committed July 17th, 2021. He was the number 15 player in the country, a 5-star last year for the Longhorns when he signed. Didn't play a ton. Was an off-the-bench presence for Texas. He was really good in the Big 12 tournament. He had a good game against Texas. He scored 6 points in the game against Miami there when the Longhorns were eliminated as well. But I went over to Orange Bloods, Jeff Ketchum and those guys do a good job. Was kind of looking around for what they were saying, and there were no reports that he was going to Ole Miss, but Ole Miss was the only school that any of their administration mentioned on the site. Said, I think Ketchum's quote was, he would not be shocked if that is the landing spot. Again, does he know something? Does he not? I got no idea. But Morris, it's been rumored that he was leaving Texas for a couple weeks now, and that at least appears to be a possibility for Chris Beard. I mean, from a roster construction, you're hearing a lot about guards and backcourt guys, it seems like.
Yeah, I'm sure they're trying to get front court guys too, like everybody else. And they're keeping things pretty close to the vest in terms of who they're targeting and who they're trying to bring in and things like that. But yeah, I mean, look, college basketball's a guard-oriented game. You got to have them. It's crushed Ole Miss the last couple of years. They just haven't had enough guards who could impact the games. He had 25 points against Louisiana Lafayette, not Monroe. He wouldn't have done that.
The University of Louisiana, 25. That's pretty good.
Yeah, he got 25 against them on December the 21st. He had some off-court stuff, and I'm trying to remember when that happened. He had a misdemeanor. Was it arrest misdemeanor or a charge?
I don't know.
Had a misdemeanor issue with a physical altercation with an ex-girlfriend. I don't know where that stands. I'm kind of searching for it. I had it up a minute ago.
June 2nd arrest.
Okay.
And there was never any change in his status. He remained eligible.
Okay. It was a misdemeanor. It's a preseason arrest for misdemeanor assault after a physical altercation with his ex-girlfriend. He was not disciplined by the program. He's one of 2 5-star recruits in the 2022 class at Texas, along with Dylan Mitchell, who's still there. That's all I know. If Ketchum thinks he's probably headed to Ole Miss, I would.
Again, they've mentioned no other schools. That doesn't necessarily mean anything. I have no clue. But that, again, when I went over there and read, that was what both Ketchum and one of the recruiting analysts for Orange Bloods, whose name is escaping me right now, both mentioned at least that Ole Miss was in it to some extent, or whatever was going on there with that. Yeah. Last thing on the whatever the altercation was is Arterio continues to do what he's supposed to do on a day-to-day basis here. Beard said at the time, we're holding all our players accountable for what they're supposed to be doing. But in terms of that situation, I can't comment. I've been asked not to comment on it. And as soon as we know something, we'll let you guys know. And apparently nothing else was said from that point. That was in November when the season was getting started, whether or not he was going to play. On March 22nd, I see here, reading quickly, that he had a court date coming up. He was supposed to go to trial March 29th in Denton County, and has been postponed.
Okay.
Again, we're all reading on the fly here, guys, so it sort of is what it is.
Here's a Chris Beard tie-in here.
Okay.
Morris, a 6'3", 190-pound guard from Dallas, was a 5-star recruit, high school McDonald's All-American. He was part of Texas' 9-man rotation this past season, averaged 4.6 points, 1.4 rebounds, and 11.8 minutes per game while helping the Longhorns to a 29-9 record and a spot in the NCAA tournament's Elite Eight. I'm reading from the Austin American-Statesman to give credit. He proved particularly effective on the defensive end and regularly matched up with an opponent's top perimeter threat when in the game. That's what Chris Beard teams do. They guard you. So Brandon Murray is considered, who committed yesterday. Brandon and I have exchanged text. He was supposed to call last night, but we'll talk eventually. While he can score, his calling card is defense. And Morris's calling card apparently is defense as well. That's what his teams are going to do. You're going to guard or you won't play.
Just a quick kind of recap. What do we know to this point about the returning roster with Ole Miss? What is for sure?
TJ Caldwell and Jamin Brakefield are for sure. Matt Morrell's going to get feedback from the NBA. He's retained his eligibility. My guess is Matt would be back, but that's a guess. I don't know. I've heard nothing conclusive on Amari Abram, and I mentioned this in a story yesterday. It was just me trying to be thorough. I've heard nothing conclusive on Deshaun Ruffin, though I would be surprised if he returned. And Malik Ewan's in the portal, and I don't think he'll be back. But I've not heard of a destination for him yet. And there was another Texas player who got in the portal yesterday, but he's going to Georgetown.
Yeah.
Brumfield.
Yeah.
Is that his name?
Yes. He is either, I think he has said he's going to Georgetown, but either way.
Brumfield or Brumbaugh?
Brumbaugh.
Right. Yeah, I think that's right.
So. Someone on the stream, give credit somewhere. Georgia Rebel says Ole Miss and Arkansas in it for Morris. I searched the Rivals.com Arkansas site just because I was curious to see if anything popped up. And the only thing over there as of, again, 8:46 a.m. here on Tuesday is them discussing that Arkansas and Texas played a scrimmage prior to the season and that Morris was very good in the scrimmage against the Razorbacks. And that he averaged his points were down, but he averaged 15 points per 40 minutes if you looked at an efficiency standpoint. So, again, what I got. What?
I was trying to think. I was trying to remember. Feels like Arkansas recruited him pretty heavily out of high school.
And then a kid is on campus right now.
Where? Here?
Yeah, is that right?
Yeah. What's his name?
The Arizona State kid.
Yeah. Nunez.
Yeah, that's correct, yes.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
Yeah, he's, to my knowledge, is here right now. He's a guard. And I don't know. Look, they've got like 9-10 spots potentially available. I don't, there's a lot going on.
We have not, to the level of player that's likely going to be considering Ole Miss in this portal window. What is sort of timeline here? I mean, it's now to win. I mean, how does this sort of work calendar-wise?
I think into the summer, right? There's plenty of time. I don't think it's like – I think you have a window of time that you can get into the portal. But then after that, I think you've got time to enroll. It's not like there's a signing day.
Well, sure.
I would think you want your guys there by no later than the 1st of July for the summer stuff.
Basketball is so small roster oriented, though. I would assume that once the dominoes start falling, everybody goes into their place in some extent, especially inside the position groups.
Yeah, I think so. What's today, April the
11th?
I would think by May 1st, most of this is done. It's my guess.
Yeah.
I mean, you're bringing the dead period. The quote dead period ended on last Thursday or Friday or whatever. So things are starting to move pretty quick. Guys taking visits and that kind of thing.
Morris out of high school, his final 5: Texas, Arkansas, Baylor, Florida, and Georgia.
Okay. It's a pretty good group.
It's from Dallas.
Yep.
So, again, no clue. He could commit to the Razorbacks in 5 minutes, and I'll shrug my shoulders, but it's kind of what's...
I'll see if Hutchinson has anything. He's got right. That's if I'm looking for something Arkansas specific, I usually go there.
Okay.
He used to work with us.
He did. I like Andrew. I was looking at this Todd McShay story out today, talking about draft prospects, graded them into tiers. And I think good news for Jonathan Mingo, and then maybe this is me being an idiot, but a little bit of surprise too in one. So he has them in tiers. In his top tier up here, he only has 2 players in tier 1. That's Bryce Young and Bijan Robinson, the Texas running back, are in his tier 1. Tier 1, elite prospect, should be immediate NFL starter and projected as a perennial all-pro player worthy of top 5 pick most years. He said he had no players in this tier in 2022. Again, Bijan Robinson at Texas, Bryce Young at Alabama are the 2 he has in that tier here. But so, hold on a second. Let me get back to it real quick.
Arkansas, it should be noted, has already landed 2 guards from the portal.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Now, he typically turns his roster over a good bit. They've added Tremon Mack from Houston and the kid from Washington, Keon Minifield Jr. So they've got 2 guards already on their roster. Their roster has, reading from Hutchinson, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So they've got 4 spots left.
Okay.
To fill in the portal.
So he's got Jonathan Mingo in tier 5, 19 prospects in this tier. Tier 5, future solid to good NFL starter, but might need to serve in substitution package situational role early in career. Mid to late second round value. Had 21 players in this tier in 2022. It's got Ringo from Georgia in this tier. It's got Drew Sanders from Arkansas in this tier. Byron Young from Tennessee's in this tier. A lot of really good college players, but Mingo in this tier as well. So he has Mingo, in theory, projected as somebody who has a NFL starting future with some situational stuff early in his career.
I've actually seen some stuff connecting him to the Bengals, which is interesting because the Bengals are in a win now mode, obviously.
ESPN's mock draft had him, I think, going to the Chiefs in a round. I'll check that in a second. I had it up, I think. But the other one here, and I would not have predicted this, and again, maybe this is on me, but tier 6, 36 prospects in this tier. Definitely some names you would know. Devin A-Chain from Texas A&M's in this tier. Henry To'oTo'o is in this tier. Stromberg, the center at Arkansas, is in this tier. It's project as future solid starter, but need time to develop, have limited upside, or come with red flags. 3rd round value. Tavius Robinson in that tier for Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tavius had a big season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, I think he's one of the more underrated people that Ole Miss has to replace. I mean, last season when Cedric got hurt, if you go back and look at when they impacted who impacted opposing passing games, it was Tavius more than anyone.
Mm-hmm.
He was a force. People have kind of blocked out the end of last season, and I get it, but go back and watch him play. His stock was jumping up. I can remember some NFL guys talking about him. Egg Bowl Day.
Okay, I had this wrong. The ESPN latest mock draft has Mingo going 58 overall to the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, that's 2nd round.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be strong.
He says, I thought about a replacement for Ezekiel Elliott here, but Mingo would make an impact on the Dallas depth chart. 6'2", 220-pound receiver, has a great mix of size and speed. He averaged 16.9 yards per reception last season. It was mostly running short routes. He can break tackles once he gets the ball. He has experience playing both inside in the slot and outside. This makes 2 pass catchers for the Cowboys, and Dak Prescott would be thrilled. So Mingo also the picture that they are using for the 2nd round there.
Interesting.
On ESPN. So at 60, they have the Bengals taking a running back out of UCLA.
Okay.
Talking about, obviously, Mixon had a disappointing 2022 season, and
I'm really surprised he's still on their roster. I'm really surprised. Now the most recent thing turns out he didn't do anything. It was his family, but still, it's just
because that went away pretty quickly.
It went away pretty fast. He was not implicated. Apparently, there was video to prove that he was not implicated, but he still just finds himself in the headlines a lot for stuff that has nothing to do with football. And I didn't think he was the most impactful running back in the world last year. Has Ezekiel Elliott decided where he's going? That was the story like a week or so ago that he was going to choose.
Hadn't seen a thing.
Okay.
Nothing. No clue. Yeah, I was looking here. From a Tavius standpoint, I'll be quick doing this because now I'm kind of curious. I'll find it. Hold on a second. Team reports, defensive. Just from a snap count standpoint. Yeah, I mean, Tavius played 688 snaps last year. I mean, that just from a straight snaps is what's so interesting to me from a replacement standpoint of this defense, because Finley played 832, Reese played 715, and Robinson played 688.
Oh, it's a ton. I mean, and everybody has to do that all over the place.
Yeah, sure. It's not new, but
it's going to look weird to look out at Ole Miss's defense and not see A.J. Finley. I mean, he's played a ton of football the last few years for Ole Miss, an absolute ton.
He got better year over year. I mean, he has that presence where for so long we were so used to seeing Jalen Jones, kind of same thing, just took a spot, and he was out there. I mean, the only returner that's at all in that realm from a snap count standpoint is DeAndre Prince. He played 819 last year.
Yeah. He's
been banged up.
He's been held out this spring.
Igmanosin 565 last year. Troy Brown 565 last year. Some snaps to replace.
Yeah, and it looks like they hit it again with Monty Montgomery. He looks the part.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they went Chance Campbell to Troy Brown to Monty Montgomery. They've been able to make that work.
Find that role
from a transfer portal standpoint.
Right. Podcast brought to you in part by the Ole Miss Athletics Foundation. Morgan Wallen bringing his One Night at a Time tour to Vaught Hemingway Stadium April 22nd and 23rd. Tickets for both are still available, and they start at just $78 to purchase. Visit morganwallen.com, and if you already have your ticket, make sure you purchase a parking pass. You can do that at OleMissTix.com.
We're also brought to you by Solutions RX. It's a probiotic multivitamin supplement company created by Ole Miss pharmacy alum Chris Cornelison. I told you about prescription support yesterday. They also have all sorts of vitamins, minerals, supplements that are available that will help you stay compliant with your medications, help you stay healthier over the long term, which is the goal after all. SolutionsRx.com, promo code OEP at checkout. Get 10% off of your first item. We're also brought to you by Game Changer Patches. They're the only 2-patch system available in the market to stop hangovers before they start. Warm-up patch used before or while you drink. The overtime patch used after you've been drinking to recover while you sleep. It's GameChangerPatch.com, promo code RebelGrove20 at checkout for 20% off your purchase. ACS is owned by my friend Clay McNutt in Baldwin, Mississippi. They can service and install Rockwell Automation, Allen Bradley, Siemens, ABB, Square D, and many other manufacturers. For more information or to get in touch with ACS, go to acsllcms.com or call 662-601-4381. Brought to you by Landman's Fine Jewelry. Landman's at 1126 North Lamar Boulevard in Oxford. It's been serving the Oxford area for 3/4 of a century. Engagement rings, wedding rings, fine jewelry, watches, pearls, whatever you're looking for in jewelry, they're the gold standard. It's landmansfinejewelry.com or call them at 662-234-2777. And we're brought to you by our friends at Pinnacle. Pinnacle's home to the 401k, the Pinnacle 401k Advisory Services team. They'll conduct a complimentary, no-obligation benchmarking and analysis of your current 401k plan. It's mypinwealth.com, MYPINN wealth.com. And we're getting closer to summer vacation, if you can afford one. After my taxes, I can't. If you are planning a summer vacation, get in touch with my friend John Edwards, Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. All right, John knows the extra attention that's needed to make a special trip one that creates a lifetime of unique memories. Just get in touch with him, give him some parameters, give him a budget, and he will come up with options that you probably won't find on your own. 901-494-3387 or send him an email, jedwards@regencytravel.net.
Podcast is brought to you by Prime Shrimp, primeshrimp.com. 7 different flavors available for you. The New Orleans-style barbecue, the signature, 2 of my favorites. They go with everything. They're 2 of the more versatile options, but plenty of different options for you. Go to the website, primeshrimp.com. Also, remember, they're now in Rouse's Markets. There's some of those down south in Mississippi, all throughout Louisiana as well. You can pick it up right there in brick-and-mortar retail or just get it shipped straight to your door. They send it to your door. Fewer than 10 minutes, freezer to plate with Prime Shrimp, and use code RG. Code RG, buy 5 pouches or more, 25% off. They also have their great 2-pound bags of individually frozen shrimp. Those are a lot like what's at the grocery store, except a higher quality shrimp from the New Orleans-based company. So again, code RG with primeshrimp.com. This kind of shocked me when I first thought about it, but maybe not as I think about it a little more. Final round of the Masters on Sunday, the most watched golf telecast of any network in the last 5 years, up 19% over last year. One that actually golf fans found a little boring. 2018, the one Masters final round that is higher than that number. That's the year Patrick Reed won, not the year Tiger Woods won.
Huh.
Tiger Woods won with a lot of rain and with an early morning start. I think that affects it because Tiger teed off really early in the day for his final round as opposed to that 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock tee off time. So that probably factored in there. But nonetheless, when I saw that, I kind of went, it's not what would have been anticipated there.
You anticipated they wouldn't have great ratings?
I mean, it's never bad, but yeah, it shocked me that it would be more than some of the previous years, sure. But now you got to remember, this is also, the 5-year thing is relevant, but it's also a little misleading from the standpoint of 20 was the fall Masters, which doesn't count.
No.
And then Tiger in a very rainy, weird one. So, I mean, you're closing
I think the Masters makes people think of spring.
It does, yes.
I think it's nostalgic to people. I think, like I've said, people like me who really aren't all that interested in golf catch myself keeping up with it a little bit, even though we don't really know who the people are. Just there's something about, like Laura said on Sunday afternoon, she said it always looks so pretty there. It's amazing how they always get great weather. I'm like, well, just yesterday it was pouring down rain. But yeah, but to your point, Sunday afternoon and feels like makes you think of spring and summer right around the corner and all that stuff. So I think that's some of it. And then they do a great job marketing it. And then people rave about their app and all of that stuff. I mean,
the app is phenomenal.
I mean, they know what they're doing.
Other than not having it actually on television prior to like 1 o'clock is.
But that might.
Now they do show it commercial free.
That might be their way of saying we know when people are going to watch it.
And people who really care can get the app and watch the featured groups.
Yeah. The casual guy is not getting up on Sunday morning and watching the Masters.
No.
The casual guy really doesn't watch until Saturday afternoon, Sunday afternoon. And that's where they get their ratings. Their ratings come from the casual sports fan. The hardcore fan is going to be on the app and all that stuff.
It's so many things. I mean, including some that were not done for TV and just or happenstance from the standpoint of even the way the course is set up, because the Masters on a lot of Sundays feels closer at times than it really is, because on the back nine, at least prior to this year when they moved the tees back, you've got 13 and 15, which are shorter par fives that you could get to. You could eagle, and it allowed chasers to get 2 or 3 shots and feel like, oh, he's up on the leaders, but the leader hadn't got to 13 and 15 yet himself. So it's not as close. But when you're doing the TV media manipulation, oh, well, Scheffler's only got a 2-shot lead after so-and-so eagle 15. It's like, well, yeah, but he's not going to go 2 over the course of 13 and 15 himself there.
But it creates drama.
Yeah, it does. I'm saying it's all.
That's
if we can stop the damn fake birds chirping, then I'm good.
I don't know, man. The birds at our house, starting every morning at about 5:15, are so freaking loud.
That early?
So maybe the birds in Augusta are legit. If they want bird sounds, they can just come here. Set up a couple of microphones. You get all the birds you possibly want.
But there is something to spring and the new season and seeing the contrast of the perfect green grass and the azaleas and the pinks and
Sure. There's a nostalgia to it. No question. There's something, that draws someone like me who's I'm not disinterested in it, but I don't care. I didn't care whether, I didn't want John Rahm to fall apart, but if he lost, he lost. I wasn't worried about it. It didn't matter to me who won the Masters, and yet I caught myself on a Sunday afternoon turning it on. And I think that's the nostalgia of it. Had that been the first Bank Open, I wouldn't have been watching it.
No, you wouldn't.
I wouldn't have been watching it. I would have flipped right by it to something else.
Yeah.
But
on a normal Sunday, you're not flipping over there and checking it out.
No.
Like the Valero Open's not going to go, oh, well, let me see what's going on.
Of course not. But there's something about that, and it's to their credit. They've done a great job of marketing it over the years and all that stuff. And, you watch to see the react. I watched the thing where they do the low am. They talk to him a bit, and then they talk to
the winner. And
it's kind of hokey, but you sit and watch it, and you're like, oh, look at him. Look at his family. And where's his wife from? Where'd they meet? All that stuff. And had the 2 pretty children and all the grandparents. And, you're like, oh, good for him. But had he, to your point, had he gone and won the Valero Open on Sunday and all of those same things were happening, I wouldn't have been like, oh, where's his wife from? How about that? They met at Arizona State. And I wouldn't have cared.
Yeah, Darty has a good point. It has the same type of casual observer as the Kentucky Derby.
Yes.
It's very similar.
Yes. If the horses are lining up to run the Kentucky Derby, I'm in. I'm watching. If the horses are lining up to run in the Arkansas Oaks, I'm flipping. I don't care.
Two things where the hardcore and the casual coexist pretty well, too. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, the hardcore's like, hey, I just like the tournament. You're kind of getting on my nerves coming in, swooping in for the day. But, okay, let's all put our arms around. It's fine. Whatever, Like somebody really locked in the Derby and it's like me just coming in and going, oh, who am I betting on today? It's like, oh, buzz off. But okay, it's fine.
Golf's smart enough to know that, again, the Masters and CBS and whoever, they're very smart enough to know, obviously, that if you don't get the casual observer, you don't get the rating, right? The number that you get for the Super Bowl is not a number that you're going to get for Week 9 when the Bears play the Lions.
I saw somewhere where they do $1 million an hour in merchandise during the tournament.
Yeah, I saw that.
$1 million an hour. They make $70 million in merchandise for the week. It's like $16,000 a minute or whatever.
People are going on and ordering clothes and stuff.
Well, no, at the place.
Oh, literally there.
Yes.
Holy shit.
No, not online. On site.
Wow.
Because that's where they're smart. They don't. You don't buy it online. You can't. You buy it on site.
Oh.
So people go through and like it. You just that they're buying for 15 people. They all want the shirt and the cap and whatnot, and $1 million an hour.
You know what's interesting is you don't see them carrying that stuff around on the course, though.
I think you can leave it play like they've got systems for you to.
Okay.
Yeah. Because no cell phones. Yeah, whoa. It's the coolest part of the Masters. In today's world, I know I harp on this. It's the coolest part is they actually are watching the damn event.
I don't disagree with that.
Watch the NBA playoffs. Phones, iPads out, recording everything.
Yeah.
Get them on their last nerve.
I don't disagree with that at all.
I've intentionally stopped doing it. Like if I'm at something, I'm just watching. And if I'm saying that the way I am on my phone, my God.
One of 2 things would happen to you if you went to the Masters and you couldn't have your phone with you for 8 hours. It would either be a cathartic experience,
or you would be
so
amped up.
Yeah.
Muscle memory would be taking over. Mostly put it away at Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. I called you on Friday morning casual observing people, but otherwise that was about it.
Yeah.
I was waiting on the carousel to stop, and that's about it. Let's see if we get any of these right. I'm trying to think who the other one was here. Here we go. Bleacher Report I saw this last night. We have nothing else to talk about, so I'm just kind of rambling at this point. Unless you have something, feel free.
No. I mean,
okay.
the stuff that's on my mind is not the stuff for this podcast.
Not going to work in the next 3 minutes on the segment. Bleacher Report did a poll of the 5 most hated franchises in sports.
Cardinals, Brewers.
What do you think?
5 most hated franchises in American sports.
Teams. Let's say teams.
Okay.
Teams is better. Franchises are bad. No. For the American, but worldwide, I assume is the way it's phrased.
5 most hated teams.
Let's go teams. Because one really surprised me. The other 4 did not.
Was hated. Yankees?
Number 1.
Okay. Cowboys?
Yes. Top 3. I don't remember if it was 2 or 3.
Lakers?
Top 3. You have the top 3. Good job.
Okay.
1 you're not going to get.
Okay.
And 1 is not an American.
Man City?
No.
Okay. One I'm not going to get, and the other one's American.
No, one is American, but you're not going to get it. I will give it to you in a second.
Okay.
And then 1 is not American.
But I'm going to guess it's soccer?
Yes.
Okay.
You were really close.
Man U.
That is correct. The other one, Miami Hurricanes football.
Really?
Miami Hurricanes football.
You know, you say that, it's kind of interesting when they play. Invariably, I cheer against them.
There's no doubt about that. The thing is, if somebody said, hey, write down the 5 teams you hate, they would never come into my mind organically without seeing them that I hate them to that level. Does that make sense?
Yes.
That just wouldn't compute.
It's interesting. And I guess that's based on back in the Jimmy Johnson days, the residuals from that long ago.
Kind of nothing to hate right now.
Because they're not even relevant. They're really irrelevant.
They couldn't even beat A&M for me last year.
No, we both tried to get them there.
God almighty. I pulled, what was the quarterback's name? Van Dyke.
Yeah.
Tried.
I know. I said nice things.
Was all in that night, sat down, and then they sucked. Within like 10 minutes, you're going, God, they're horrid. Bad football team. There were some people that did it for the last stat in Omaha. I actually kind of looked around at that to see who had the phone out, who didn't, kind of what everybody was doing.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to be able to find video of it. Plenty.
And when you watch it with your phone, you don't see
You're
it the
watching
same
it
way.
in a
little box
2x3 screen or whatever the hell it is.
Instead of in panoramic, natural.
Yeah, we're stupid.
Oh, I've told you there's nothing more depressing. And you can pick your college campus. It's all of them. Wherever you want to go. Walk on a college campus, it's depressing. It is. It's truly depressing. Not on a game day.
You're talking about phones.
Yes.
Okay.
Walk on a college campus on a Thursday. And all the kids are on their phones. Literally the one time in your life that you're around that many people of your own age, kind of basically the same interests and stuff. And they're on their phones at all times. Everywhere. Depressing.
Depressing. Yes, Cliff Kingsbury is back in football. He's going to be a senior offensive analyst for the USC Trojans with Lincoln Riley. Got a thought?
He's going to hang out some. Work with Caleb Williams a little bit.
It's not going to be a high-stress position.
I'm going to guess not. I'm going to guess it's just
not even an on-field coach.
No, he's just an analyst, which means he'll go in there a couple days a week. He's still going to be hanging out at the pool on the weekends.
Not worrying.
I would assume he won't even be there on game day. I doubt if he's traveling with the team when they go to Corvallis, for example.
Oh, no.
I don't know. I mean, look, he's making a ton of money.
He came back from Thailand or wherever.
I guess just proof that you can eventually get
At some point,
you get tired of it.
he recharged, ready to get back to work to a low level.
I mean, he's getting paid a ton of money by the Cardinals, so I mean, he's good. But those people are wired in a way that
it's hard to just put it away.
Hard to just stop. How long do you think you could hang out at the pool before you'd be like, all right, I got to get back and do something?
Oh, there's a time. Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think you're wired that way. I think you could just hang out. I can't. No, I need a project.
I think I could shut it down.
Do you really?
More and more.
You don't think you get bored? Purpose. I don't think you need a purpose. Not some hardcore, but just something.
I guess. I don't.
I mean, frankly, even a podcast, some would give you an outlet to engage.
I guess. I don't know. I think.
I mean, I know you'd love to find out. Don't get me wrong.
I think this is where. Well, I mean, I think this is where like people refer to like midlife crises or whatever. I mean, it's like you start to wonder, like, so what is my purpose? What is the purpose? And I know our purpose is we entertain and all that stuff. I just sometimes feel like I'm purposeless.
Rudderless.
It's like
in the grand scheme, it feels pretty insignificant.
Yeah. Like if I died today, like what would someone what did he do? Like I think if you asked my kids, like what does he do? They would be like, I don't know. He writes about stuff. He does a podcast. What was the podcast about? I don't know. Never listened to it. I mean, it's the funniest part of my existence because people will ask the girls, you know, what does your dad do? I don't know. And my kids are pretty smart. I mean, they just makes you wonder, like, what do you do? I'll never forget. I was at the White House, and I was introduced to somebody, I don't know, Joint Chief of Staff or something. And he asked what I did, and when I explained it to him, you could tell he was so completely underwhelmed.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's like, oh,
digital media entrepreneur. Thanks. Yeah. All right. Awesome. Good to meet you. It's fantastic.
Yeah, his eyes glazed over. I mean, he was completely disinterested.
I don't remember where I was, what we were doing. I mean, remember Carly Ann's 7, but she introduces people all the time. It's like her thing. She's like, hey, this is so-and-so, this is so-and-so. And whoever it was, and she goes, hey, this is my dad. He's an author. And I went, you need to be in PR because that's the most generous way you possibly could have put that right there, which is not really true, but thanks. Appreciate that. Like, yeah. It has elevated, though. She just go, yeah, he signs books. I'm like, well, okay.
That's
sure.
good.
Yeah.
He signs books.
Yeah, he signs books. That's what he does. Okay, thanks. I don't know. I mean, not to get overly deep, and we got to go to break. I'll come out, but I'm listening to an audiobook right now where the guy was actually talking about, like, I guess midlife crisis, but it was discussing going into your later years, and truly, unless you do something insanely significant, you are kind of forgotten in no time. Sure. Like there is a certain, and that's not meant to be fatalistic. There's almost a piece to it of, hey, do what you can, but unless you're Charles Darwin here, like,
right,
it's probably not going to be something where 120 years later they're going, wow, this dude did this. I mean, you can make that depressing, but you also can make that freeing in a way.
Sure.
Because legacy eats people up as they get older. And hey, it was talking about, it's called Strength to Strength, I think is the name of the book. It's really, I know I'm obsessed with audiobooks. I keep talking about them all the time. But it was discussing how, like, your intelligence changes over time and how you kind of maybe get out of your prime in a certain way of I'm creating and I'm energetic in those ways, but you understand much better. So you have to flip the way you operate, not that you're insignificant inside your profession or what you do. It simply is a shift that you need to recognize in certain capacities. And some of it is realizing legacy and going, no, but here's what we can do. That's not going to be a thing. So quit freaking worrying about it because it's not going to happen.
I'm glad that I've never been a person who has been obsessed with legacy at all.
Mm-hmm.
I've never even given it a thought. Because I think if I did, it would drive me insane. And I know that happens to people. Like, how am I going to be remembered? Does it matter? I mean, outside of like, I mean, for me, it's like how many people would it really matter how they remembered me? I mean, it's such a small number. I mean, truly, that it matters how they would remember me.
Yeah.
And none of them would think about. The truth is, like, I mean, going full circle and getting deep, I guess here. And I do some of this. You know, my parents are in their 80s, and Campbell graduates college. My oldest graduates college in 4 or 5 weeks or whatever. I mean, I paid for the.
Oh wow, really?
I paid graduation fee or whatever yesterday.
I didn't realize. I mean, I did, but I didn't.
I mean, it's here. Yeah, I mean,
okay.
she's kind of almost depressed about it. But like truth is, if something happened to me today, the conversations that they had about me would have nothing to do with my work ever.
No,
I don't care. I mean, I don't care. I mean, I will say this: the whole butcher versus the spin instructor thing. I told Campbell one day, I said, "You need to put that on your resume." And she's like, "Really? Why?"
Communicate.
And I said, "Well, because you never know. Like somebody's interviewing you, looking for a icebreaker, especially if it's a male, might go, what was that?" And she's like, "All right, I'll put it on there." Mm-hmm. And sure enough, that's what happened.
Was it really?
Yeah, yeah. It's like one of the big conversations they had in her second interview was about that show. And she was able to explain the show, sort of. And it ended up helping her. So that was good.
Oh, that's funny.
See, the MPW Digital, the power.
There you go. All right. Podcast brought to you in part by Northeast Spark, NESPARC, service people across rural communities. 2 packages, the Ignite, the 100 Mbps, or the Blaze, the 1 gig that powers the Clark Ford studio. Your hometown team bringing you world-class broadband. That's nespark.com, 662-238-3159. Phone service, parental controls, network security, wireless mesh extender, and more. So again, get the best internet in Lafayette County as well as parts of Union and Pontotoc counties that did not previously have internet. 662-238-3159.
I'll have a mailbag tomorrow at rebelgrove.com. It's brought to you by Whitney McNutt of Tommy Morgan Incorporated Realtors, serving you for all of your real estate needs in Oxford and Tupelo. Whitney sells condos, land, commercial, residential, family homes. You can reach her at 662-567-2573 or 662-842-3844. We're brought to you by Service Specialist Staffing and Recruiting Agency, connecting great job opportunities to candidates since 1967. If your company is looking to hire quality, hard-to-find talent, Service Specialists can help you. Keep in mind that payment of service is solely contingent on if you decide to hire a candidate that Service Specialist sends. So you've got nothing to lose. Give Will, Sydney, or Kelsey a call at 662-832-5138 or check out their new and improved website, servicespecialistltd.com. Don't just accept what you see, but imagine something new. Step forward, chase after a better version of yourself. Every day, Corinth Dental is helping people reinvent themselves one smile at a time. Dr. Bubba McQueen, Dr. Jenny Beth Hendrick are devoted to restoring and enhancing the natural beauty of your smile using conservative state-of-the-art procedures, including Invisalign. These clear aligners are the virtually invisible way to improve your smile. So call Corinth Dental today and get a no-cost digital scan of your teeth. Let them show you the way to a straighter, healthier smile. 12 months, no interest, no down payment. Financing is available at corinthdental.com. And we're brought to you by Southern Traditions Farm. It's a 68-acre, 32-stall, upscale equestrian training and boarding facility in Canton, Mississippi. It's also a great place for events. It's a venue for reunions or corporate getaways, whatever the case may be. Get in touch with them at Southern Traditions Farm on Facebook or Instagram at Southern Traditions Farm.
Podcast is brought to you by Johnson Hill Creamery, johnsonhillcreamery.com. Got a charcuterie class coming up. That's in conjunction with, or in cooperation with the Chicory Market as well. Thursday, April 20th, 5:30 p.m. Space is limited. Give them a call. 662-234-5751 is the number to register. Learn how to build a beautiful charcuterie board. You get to take home what it is you build for the day. So it's an awesome thing. It's at the library here locally in Oxford. So head on in. Again, Chicory Market, Johnson Hill Creamery, in cooperation there for this charcuterie class. Again, April 20th, 2023. That's 5:30, 662-234-5751. Did you notice where the stolen bases are way up?
Yeah.
In baseball?
Yeah.
Like way up.
Way up. Truth is, give Theo Epstein and everybody at Major League Baseball credit. As much as people like you and me bitch about it, it's a much better TV product. The early returns are good on their ratings. The games have more activity. Stolen bases are up. Balls in play, or there's more hits. The whole deal. Teams are figuring out how to manipulate the shift a little bit, but you can't completely shift the way that you used to.
The Yankees doing the little hop step thing on the stolen bases. That's
kind of
not
fun.
Been around in a while.
Cubs won a game last night, kind of doing that.
Yankees stole 102 bases last season. That was good for 8th. They're on pace for 194 this year. Cleveland, again, we're really early in the season.
Yeah.
On pace for 280.
Yeah.
The Rangers led Major League Baseball at 128 last year. It's interesting.
It's too small of a sample size to go crazy with the numbers, but if those numbers were to hold, and look, stolen bases are fun.
Movement is fun. There's a story, I don't know if you read it or not, that got linked on the board today from Vox. And it was talking about it. It was a little bit of a flimsy association, as I wrote, but I understood what they were doing. They were comparing AI, artificial intelligence, to baseball, actually, using Kyle Schwarber as the example. In a lot of ways, Schwarber is the epitome of this 3 outcome. We are trying to be efficient. We're just trying to hit the ball in the ballpark. We're going to strike out a lot. It's boring, but it is the best way to play the game from an analytical, statistical standpoint.
Well, as Theo was saying the other day on Ron Russillo's show, he was, people make fun of the analytics, and he goes, and I get it. The deal is, some of these guys, the way that they pitch, the idea of, hey, let's string 3 singles together is unrealistic.
So that's the point, is all these things in combination. The way to combat that is to throw the ball as hard as you can damn throw it. Try to get more strikeouts. Strikeouts are going to pile up, all that stuff. We was talking about AI, and I have plenty of negative thoughts on AI. It's not time for that right now. But I maybe hate it more than most people do. But their example they used was, there was this boat racing game, and humans tried to win the game to get the most points. AI got told, hey, win this game or get the most points possible. And they realized that the best way to do it was not to win. The best way to do it was to simply do circles over and over and over again through certain checkpoints, which gave them points. They could hit the same checkpoint over and over and over and over again. And they compared it from the standpoint of, it's a lot like baseball. It's boring as hell, but it's the way to get the most points. And I am wondering, look, this is very early on. This is whatever. Are these changes slowly bringing the sport to some level back to what we're used to seeing from the 50s, 60s, 70s, from time, and actually playing a little bit of a different brand of baseball? Or are we completely stuck in this 3 outcome game, even with stolen bases being up?
It's too early to say.
Too early to say. But no doubt about that. I don't know.
But it's interesting. I hope so. Again, I mean, not to get nostalgic, but I mean, I remember those days of Ricky Henderson, and people around the game were looking for their Ricky Henderson.
It's the irony. We want games to go fast. That is the best TV product. The best TV product also is balls in play. It's why softball does well on TV.
Yeah.
Action.
Yeah.
Waiting around. I mean, look, they pointed this out last year in the World Series, back-to-back games. You had the Phillies winning a game with 7 runs, all 7 runs coming on home runs. And then the next game, they were no hit and struck out 14 times.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to Major League Baseball.
No, you're right. There's a reason that like, back to the golf for a minute. If what you showed in golf was, hey, he hits the ball and now he's got to walk 300 yards.
Yeah.
No, they go to the next guy hitting a ball.
Yeah.
Hey, on to 7. By the way, there's a funny, I think it's TikTok. It was really funny. This minor league broadcaster broadcasted an inning like it was golf.
Yeah.
An inning of baseball, and it was really funny.
He dropped his voice.
He deposited that ball into left field.
Yeah.
Really did that well. It was really good. He's from Santo Domingo. It's 30 minutes from... It was fantastic.
Where's Bronny going to go?
USC.
Is he?
Yeah, it's going to happen today.
Okay.
The couple of guys in the basketball recruiting sphere that if they tell you something's going to happen, it's going to happen.
And that's the word?
And that's the word.
Without the name, mid 4-star?
Maybe upper 4-star. He's good.
Okay.
I mean, in some ways, obviously, being LeBron James' son is going to open up a lot of doors, right? In some ways, I really catch myself cheering for Bronny James. I hope that he does really well because it's an absurdly unfair thing that every game he's ever going to play, he's going to be compared to one of the 3 best players in modern basketball history. I mean, it'd be like taking it would be absurdly unfair if, like, the school you cheered for signed a player and you went, okay, he's the next Kobe Bryant. You don't want to be compared to Kobe at all times, right? I mean, it's the part of like Arch Manning. Arch is going to be compared to 2 guys who won 2 Super Bowls. Always. Everything he does. He's never going to get compared to just other college quarterbacks.
I mean, the Final Four was going on, and Jim Nantz mentioned Arch Manning, who has not played a snap yet, and essentially called him the face of the Texas program. Quinn Ewers is on the roster.
But you know what? He might. As much as I want to criticize that, it's probably true.
No, not even necessarily criticizing, just pointing out, wow.
Yeah.
That's.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying Bronny won't be fine. And Bronny's he's going to be, all's going to be well with Bronny James. But
his life's all right.
But you understand my point.
I have not read it yet. ESPN has a big story on Lane up this morning. Alex Scarborough wrote it. It appears to be the longer offshoot of the story he wrote last week about the Auburn thing. It's a much longer feature story on Lane.
Is this the story on? No. I know of a national person that was working.
Why Lane Kiffin chose to stay at Ole Miss and didn't take the Auburn job, but it is much longer. It is a pretty lengthy story. I don't really understand what we're doing right now. Because the story doesn't appear to necessarily be about that. I don't know why that's the headline. And I get it's clickbait maybe, but that doesn't appear to be what the story is actually about. The story appears to be Lane being fairly comfortable here if he is. Again, I haven't read the story, but that headline isn't fitting a feature story. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't understand what they're doing.
I'm not criticizing Alex at all. It's fine.
He probably didn't pick the story. I mean, the headline. Again, I haven't read it. I don't know.
Do we do this about any other coaches?
No, I don't know.
I mean, does anybody ever go to Iowa City? Why Kirk Ferentz is comfortable in Iowa? Do we? I mean, literally go SEC. No one ever does the Kirby Smart still comfortable in Athens. What does that mean? Why would he be uncomfortable? I guess is the better question. Am I missing something? Yeah, I mean he's put some roots down. He's an aloof guy but the whole Lane Kiffin jumps around thing is completely overdone. It is a narrative that is over. The Raiders fired him, right? He went to Tennessee. He left after 1 year, but he left for his dream job that he would have stayed at forever if things hadn't gone sideways. They fired him. He didn't leave. He took a job at Alabama. He stayed until he got a head coaching job. And he stayed at FAU until he got a Power 5 job. So I don't know where the narrative that Lane Kiffin just leaves and leaves and leaves really, truly comes from.
The lead is about Kiffin's getting in better shape and mental health and stuff like that. So I'm avoiding that. But these 4 paragraphs I'm going to read are kind of interesting, at least. Again, it gets into Auburn later, but this is why the story's not really about Auburn. It is, but it isn't. The story is about what you're talking about. It's this fascination that Lane is still here. That is the fascination in the nut of the story. It says, again, they said something above this, just it doesn't matter. No, they certainly would not. But then again, most coaches wouldn't still be here. They would have left when presented with an opportunity to go from a program that has never competed for a national championship during the modern era to one that has competed regularly on the sport's biggest stage, obviously talking about Auburn.
Mm-hmm.
Kiffin, who at 47 has already been part of 2 dynasties and had several stops in between, signed a massive 6-year contract extension to stay at Ole Miss. He bought the steam machine soon after turning Auburn down. Again, whatever, it's talking about something above.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm going to be here longer, so let's get this thing fixed. It may look strange and maybe even a little unbelievable from the outside, but Kiffin trusts that Oxford has everything that he needs both personally and professionally. He believes he has the tools to build a program that can capitalize on the way college football has changed, the science of assembling a roster becoming more reminiscent of the NFL. Maybe it would be easier to win elsewhere, maybe even at Auburn with its tradition and resources, but he's fine sweating it out at Ole Miss and doing things differently. That's like the 12th through 16th paragraphs of the story.
He bought a sauna.
Something about a steam machine or something. Yeah, again, I don't know. He's talking about yoga and something he puts in his coffee and weight loss and all kind of stuff. I don't know.
Some of the same stuff that we like. There's a doctor that I follow on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Twitter, whatever, who swears by saunas.
Okay.
You should sauna 4 or 5 times a week.
Yeah, he has it.
And you basically can install an in-home sauna that's, I'm sure, is basically.
He bought the sauna or the yoga studio here locally, a sauna out of his own pocket.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. 2 a days, he says, as if he too is a player in the middle of spring practice. The first class is at 6:15 a.m. It's 105 degrees and as humid as a sauna inside thanks to a steam machine Kiffin bought the studio out of his own pocket.
Okay.
So.
What's he put in his coffee? Does it say?
He says that it had like lumps in it, and he said it's something that's supposed to help him lose weight. Said he's not sure if it has to do with increasing metabolism or reducing bloat or what, but he's dumping something into his coffee.
See, he's a lot like us. I put Element.
I've got Element in my coffee right here.
I had Element in my coffee this morning at 5:45.
Which one did you use?
The chocolate salt.
I bought a chocolate bundle the other day. It's got mint chocolate in it. I don't know if you like mint or not, but it is phenomenal. It tastes like mint hot chocolate. It's really, really good.
Is it with Element?
Yeah, Element. They've got a chocolate caramel.
Oh, really?
And a mint hot chocolate.
Oh.
Yeah.
Element should have.
We're clearly giving free ads. I will tell you guys. I sent them an email the other day and said, I would like a referral. I will sell your product. Can you holler at us?
Oh, yeah.
And gave them some of our numbers.
The orange salt has become my favorite.
Watermelon's my favorite.
I just don't like watermelon much.
Watermelon is by far my favorite. But
no, I've turned on several people to.
Yeah, I did. I cold emailed Element and said, just give me a referral code. We'll figure it out. We'll see if we hear back. I don't know. I might have been a little bored at baseball over the weekend and decided we're just going to start emailing some folks and seeing what happens. So that's what happened.
No, it's good. It's great stuff.
It's great. No, I'm great.
Yeah.
It's good. Every morning.
Because that doctor, the same doctor that I'm talking about, talks about the importance of salt.
Yeah.
Salt.
Yeah.
Which is the antithesis of what people were taught for a long time.
Yeah. Element is nothing but it's salt, potassium, and magnesium. That's what it is for anybody. So, all right. Now that we've gotten free ads out of the way, again, baseball tonight, Memphis, 6:30, Alcorn State. I don't know why they're playing the game tomorrow.
Full of SEC games today. Did you see this? Florida State's at Florida. Eastern Kentucky's at Tennessee. Southern Miss is at Alabama. Auburn's at Georgia Tech. Clemson's at Georgia. LSU's in Tulane. Mississippi State's at UAB. USC Upstate at South Carolina. UTSA at Texas A&M. North Alabama at Vanderbilt.
Tricky, those Lions.
Little Rock is at Arkansas. Memphis is at Ole Miss. Missouri at Missouri State, and then
Kentucky and Louisville's postponed.
Why?
Oh, yeah.
Probably the shooting.
Yeah. Tomorrow, Little Rock at Arkansas and Alcorn State, the only the games, and then Kentucky, LSU, and Missouri A&M are your Thursday series this week.
Yeah.
It's not a great slate this week. There's a couple interesting series, but it's not a phenomenal slate.
Auburn at Alabama, Georgia at Florida, Ole Miss at State, Missouri at Texas A&M, South Carolina at Vanderbilt. That's a good one. Kentucky at LSU, and Tennessee at Arkansas is a good one.
It's very interesting.
Tony Vitello coming back to Fayetteville for a job that was once once his and probably is not his anymore.
No.
Isn't that interesting?
That used to be just this certainty. And
it was a just absolute lock in stone that Tony Vitello would replace Dave Van Horn, and I don't think that's the case anymore.
He doesn't fit that program. That's not what they are. And I get that when Van Horn leaves, you got to have an identity, but that's not.
It's so interesting to watch those two programs play each other because they're the same program. The fan bases hate each other and stuff. The teams, the programs are not much different.
No, Vitello's aura is
right.
the.
I'm talking. I mean, I'm talking about Van Horn and Bianco are kind of similar.
Oh yeah.
Kind of similar.
Oh, you mean Ole Miss and Arkansas?
Ole Miss and Arkansas. That's what I meant. When they play each other, they're kind of the same. I mean, you're kind of looking in the mirror a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, Vitello doesn't fit that.
Someone said Ole Miss and Arkansas. Kyle Campbell was telling me this. I'll give credit where it's due. We were standing out in the rain on Saturday morning, and it's like Mike and Dave are separated by like one game when they play each other.
Yeah.
It's like 40-39 or something like that.
I mean, it's been
mirror images. Yeah, and then Vitello comes in, and he's just this bombastic.
And it doesn't
fit there.
No.
Or any more than it would fit here. It wouldn't fit here at all.
It doesn't. It's not great for a long season in general. It's hard to maintain that, and it's what Tennessee saw last year. I mean, they've got Tennessee's not going to win a national title unless they calm down a little bit.
Look at them this year. I mean,
they can't hit, and they're freaking out.
They're freaking out, and they're weird on the field, and
they're giving up some runs,
and their pitchers are strutting around all the time and stuff, and it just doesn't work.
Mm-mm.
I mean, it doesn't work.
No, I mean, I know they won on Sunday, but Florida got in their tail for a couple of days there. Like it was.
Yeah, and Tennessee was chirping at them and stuff, and Florida just played.
Yeah,
which is not what you'd expect.
From a Kevin O'Sullivan team being the maintaining emotion team on the field is the interesting part.
The Kevin O'Sullivan team being the mature kid in the room should send a message, right?
Yeah, because he told his guys, "Hey, just let it go, just play."
I mean, when you compare, like the only word that comes to mind, like with programs like Ole Miss and Arkansas compared to Tennessee, is like corporate.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And baseball's a long season, and it kind of works better if you're a little more understated
level.
Yeah, I mean, the postseason, you're going to get ramped up and stuff, but you can't play 60-something games that way. It doesn't work.
No.
There's a reason that nobody does. Skip Bertman didn't do that.
Mm.
His teams played with emotion in the postseason, but in April, they were just kind of like, hey, let's go play the game.
Mm-hmm. All right, podcast tomorrow. Hopefully some stuff coming to you here shortly.
We're working on a couple of things. So.
Yeah, we hope. We'll figure it out. Again, Ole Miss starting Grayson Saunier tonight, Jordan Vera tomorrow. Again, Memphis, Alcorn State. So coverage, rebelgrove.com, Lane Kiffin today, 11:30. Baseball the next 2 days, and we'll talk to you very, very soon.